Hi, I'm Tina from Poland. Please like and subscribe. I was born into a super rich home. My dad owned the largest store in the country, and my two brothers were billionaires as well. My long brown hair and my blue eyes caught the attention of everyone whenever I went out with my dad.
Wow, your daughter is so beautiful.
People would shower me with all sorts of gifts. I loved it a lot. I mean, who wouldn't? I would always want to go out with Dad, but he wouldn't let me, and he had his reasons. I was the only girl in the family. My mom left when I was a baby. When she left, Dad said I became really sick. I was taken to the best hospital in the country. They did all they could, but I didn't get any better. I spent a year in the hospital, and eventually I got better.
I'm so glad you're fine now, sweetheart.
Since then, my dad and brothers walked on eggshells around me, and they spoiled me silly. They bought me the most expensive gifts. My dad even got me the most expensive necklace in the world. I love them, but sometimes they do too much. The only person who treated me like a normal kid was Jerry, our next-door neighbor. Jerry and I were inseparable growing up, and we had the best time together. When people made fun of my long brown hair, Jerry always defended me. We would play silly pranks on my brothers and laugh as the pranks played out. That all changed when Jerry's parents decided to move to another country. Jerry's mom got a sweet fashion deal in Paris, and they had to move. I was devastated. I wanted to sneak Jerry into my room so that we could start living together. But my brothers found out, Jerry left, and I was all alone. It took me a while to make friends in high school, even though I was the prettiest girl in school. I had gotten so used to Jerry that I couldn't just flow with any other person. One day I was on YouTube watching Luna videos. When I stumbled upon a channel, it was Jerry's. He'd gotten so big and handsome. He was a popular chef in Paris with over 10 million subscribers. I stayed up all night watching his videos. I wanted to drop a comment, but I didn't know what to type. I was scared that he wouldn't remember me anymore. Meanwhile, I'd gotten into a nationwide beauty pageant, and I was one of the favorites to win. That was all my dad talked about.
You need to win the pageant, sweetie, whatever it takes.
I would always feel the pressure choking me when I went to school. Diane, the only person I was able to bond with at school, noticed and tried to take the pressure off.
Let's go to your favorite restaurant. I'm sure you'll feel better after.
We went to the restaurant and she got me my favorite meal. I smiled as the waiter placed the food on the table. And just as I munched on the delicious meal, the cutest guy walked in. Every lady in the restaurant stared and was in awe as he sat by the window. He looked at me and with a gorgeous smile he winked. My face turned red and my heart raced as he winked. I quickly looked away and focused on my meal. Just as we were about to leave the restaurant, I slipped and I was sure that I would fall. But the cute guy caught me.
You should watch where you're going. I should be the one falling, not you.
Why would you fall?
I would fall for you, of course.
I giggled in excitement as my face turned red. I looked at Diane, who was already dancing in the corner.
I'm Brian. How have I not seen such a beautiful creature like you around here before?
You didn't look closely enough. I'll see you around.
I grabbed Diane and we rushed out of the restaurant. Since then, I met Brian every time I went to the restaurant. He would come over to me and we would start talking. Turns out he was pretty funny and smart. I became so fond of him and we spent even more time together. Date one night, and when we returned, he walked me to the front door and planted a kiss on my lips. I was so excited because I had wished that Brian would be my first kiss. I began to really like him. And it turns out I wasn't the only one. My brothers and even my dad loved him.
He is the son of the wealthiest man in the country. We need the connection, honey.
He helped me with my preparation for the beauty pageant. And with time, we became a power couple in school. Apparently, Joy, the biggest bully in school, was also a contestant in the beauty pageant and was obsessing over Brian.
I wonder what he sees in you.
Things he doesn't see in you, apparently.
She did everything in her power to stop me from dating him, but she failed miserably. Her face would turn red when she saw us together after her failed attempts. It was so hilarious. I got to school one day and I got the biggest shock of my life. Jerry, my runaway neighbor, was sitting right next to my seat in class.
Jerry, what are you doing here?
I ran to meet him and he met me halfway. He lifted me up and hugged me tight. Wow, he even looked way cuter than in the videos. Brian saw us and he quickly moved to hold my hand.
Who is he?
Oh, this is Jerry. We were close friends when we were much younger, but he's a huge star now.
Huge star? How come I've never heard of him?
Don't mind Tina here, I'm just a chef.
What are you doing here, though?
Oh, I moved back here. My mom wants to spend more time here, and I miss this place as well.
I was so excited that I hugged him again. Brian pulled me back and placed his arm on my shoulder.
It's good to see you, Jerry.
I waved at Jerry as I walked out of the class with Brian. The wonderful memories I shared with him growing up rushed back to me as he smiled at me. He came to my place after school and we spoke for a long time. He told me all about Paris, how he learned to cook, and how he became a teenage sensation overnight.
My mom helped me with everything, and that's why I love her so much.
I'm really happy for you, Jerry, and I'm glad you're back.
Just as Jerry was about to leave, Brian walked in.
Oh, Jerry's here.
I was on my way already. Let me leave you two alone. Good night.
Jerry sounded so cool and mature, and he was dressed well too. Brian and I spent time together, but all I could think about was Jerry. I started spending more and more time with Jerry, and I began to realize just how funny and smart he was. Whenever his brown eyes stared at me, my heart would melt, and I could feel the butterflies in my stomach dancing. I was falling for him, and honestly, I loved it. Brian, on the other hand, had been buying me nice gifts since Jerry came back. He even got me a very expensive car, which I really loved. One time I was walking with Diane, and all of the sudden I tripped, and as I was about to fall, Jerry, out of nowhere, caught me. He held me in his arms for a while, and I just stared into his gorgeous eyes. He reached out to kiss me, but Brian walked up to us that moment.
What's going on here?
I pushed Jerry aside and ran away. I was so confused I didn't know what to do. The day of the beauty pageant grew closer and I began to panic.
Don't be a baby. We've practiced, and I've helped you a lot. I'm sure you'll be fine.
He sounded so much like a jerk, but he was right. We had practiced so much and I could feel the confidence building inside of me that all crumbled when Joy the witch accused me of stealing.
She would never do that.
Yes, she did, and I have the proof. She stole my expensive necklace and hid it in her locker. I saw her when she did it.
You're such a liar. Why would I steal your cheap necklace?
Why don't we find out if I'm a liar or not? Then, open your locker.
To my biggest surprise, the necklace was placed on one of the books in my locker.
How did it get there?
My jaw dropped as the principal picked up the necklace. Everyone looked at me weird, including Brian. My dad and brothers were certain that when I was called into the principal's office that I couldn't steal. They had bought even more expensive necklaces for me. So why would I steal one?
You are hereby disqualified from the beauty pageant, and you must serve detention for a week.
I ran out of the principal's office crying. I couldn't believe it. Everyone would think I'm a thief and they wouldn't believe me anymore. Jerry walked out of the shadows and he came over to me.
Hey, I heard what happened. Are you okay?
Leave me alone. Jerry, I know you think I'm a thief as well.
I could never think of you like that, and I know very well you are not a thief.
I'm glad you believe me because no one else in the school does, including Brian.
I don't know what to do. I started crying and that was when Jerry moved closer to me and hugged me tightly.
Just ignore them. We'll figure something out. Trust me.
My first day in detention sucked. People looked at me differently, including the teachers. Jerry then came and made everything easier. We spent time together in detention and we got even closer. He stayed with me all the way through, and he also walked me home just to make sure I was safe. The beauty pageant was days away, and the entire country was buzzing because of it. Joy was the clear candidate to win, but there were talks about McKeely winning as well. She was my favorite. She was so pretty and kind. She had the cutest blue eyes I have ever seen. Jerry made sure I continued with my practice, even though I didn't want to.
You can still be called back in for the pageant, so you need to be ready.
On my way back from detention one day, I felt really sick. My knees became weak and I was dizzy. I fell to the ground and was rushed to the hospital. When my dad got to the hospital, he demanded that I'd be transferred to the same hospital I was admitted to when I was much younger. I was in a coma for 2 weeks. Everyone was worried sick. Brian, who had disappeared since Joy accused me of stealing, came back and stayed by my side. Jerry was there too, and they both argued from time to time about who deserved me more.
How could you abandon her when she needed you the most? You don't deserve her.
And who are you to decide that? She's my girlfriend, and there is nothing you can do about that.
The doctors ran some tests, and they found out I had a rare kidney disease and I needed a kidney transplant. Dad couldn't be the donor because he had the same disease. My brothers were on a very important business trip, and they weren't even told that I was in the hospital. Diane gave excuses and Brian ran away again. Time was running out and I needed a donor quickly.
I'll be the donor.
Jerry stepped up and he donated one of his kidneys. The surgery was successful and weeks later I was discharged from the hospital. I got back home and continued the preparation for the beauty pageant with Jerry. Some days before the pageant, the school found out that Joy planted the necklace in my locker just to get me kicked out of the pageant. She confessed after she was caught trying to pull the same trick on Michaela. She was suspended and I was called back in for the pageant, just like Jerry had predicted. I became so nervous when I got the news. Sweat poured out of me and I felt a tightness in my chest. Jerry noticed and held my hand gently.
You'll be fine, Tina. This is what you trained for, and I am so proud of you.
He smiled at me and I hugged him tightly.
What would I do without you?
The day came and I was well prepared for it. I wore my finest gown. Dad had just gotten it for me and it looked absolutely gorgeous. My brothers hired the best stylist in the country, and she did a wonderful job. They all sat in the front row and they applauded when I stepped on stage. I nailed the many questions I was asked and felt my confidence building as the show went on. After what seems like an eternity, it was time to decide the winner. We all held hands and hoped for the best. Michaela got second place with a standing ovation, and my name was announced as the winner of the pageant. I was so happy, tears rolled down my cheeks. But out of nowhere, Brian came on stage and held my hand. I yanked his hand off and walked down to where Jerry stood. Brian ran to meet me and he grabbed me violently. Jerry intervened and punched him right in the face.
Leave her alone! You don't deserve her!
Brian ran off crying like a baby while Jerry held my hand gently and smiled at me. My heart melted and my face turned red.
You look really beautiful.
Just kiss me already.
He leaned in and gave me the warmest kiss ever. I held on to him as everyone cheered us on. It was the best night ever.
Hi, I'm Rena. Please like and subscribe. I was walking in the school hallway after I failed my chemistry exam for the 5th time in the 10th grade. And that's when I realized that the best thing I could do was look for a good husband and marry him after graduation. I had no future in college anyways. And when I was busy imagining myself as the wife of a handsome billionaire, I bumped into a boy I had never seen before. And in a heavy accent, he said,
You have 3 weeks to fall in love with me.
What? I was shocked, but he looked very serious. I tried to push him away, but he stopped me.
It's only 3 weeks, and I know you very well, Rena. You'll like taking risks. Agree to this and I promise you, you will have the best time of your life.
I stared at him and started talking, but I tripped over something and was about to fall when he caught me just in time.
Easy there, baby girl.
What did he just call me? I pushed him away and fell on my butt really hard. Don't touch me! And where are you from?
Italy!
Italian guys are so attractive, but you look ugly to me. Of course I was lying. He was really cute. And so what? You made a bet with your Italian friends before coming to the States that you will make an American girl fall in love with you in the first 3 weeks.
Kinda, but the bet was with my brothers. It was actually for 5 weeks. But when I saw you and knew you were miserable and ugly, I chose you and told my brothers. Nah, I only needed 3 weeks to make this girl fall head over heels in love with me.
Wow. Who did he think he was? Did you just call me ugly?
Yeah, but people must tell you that all the time, right?
Ugh. I ignored him and walked away, but he followed me and started begging. He told me he knew about my sick dad and that I lost my mom years ago. He offered to pay me $10,000 if I agreed to spend 3 weeks at school with him so his brothers could see us together. And what did I have to lose? I already failed 2 exams. Are you gonna buy me food?
A lot of food!
Deal! And just like that, I became his fake girlfriend. His name was Antonio, and he was super rich. And in the first 2 hours of our fake relationship, he bought me 5 Gucci bags.
If I have to be seen with you, you should change your cheap, ugly clothes. These are your size and your favorite color. Black!
How did you know about my favorite color?
You mentioned that in an Insta post March 2018, and you said from now on, I will only wear black.
Yeah, it's the day my mom passed away, and I was just sad.
Oh, I'm really sorry. Please forgive me.
I saw this as a chance to make him feel guilty, so I said, I don't know if I can forgive you. That might take a while. I saw a worried look on his face. Perfect! I excused myself to go to the bathroom to do my happy dance first, and then try on all these amazing dresses. When I left the bathroom, Antonio looked really impressed, and so did everyone else. I saw the look on every girl's face who made fun of me and my clothes. And to tease them more, I put my arm around Antonio's. "You're amazing, amor mio." "In your face, witches!" The next few days were heaven. I got the latest iPhone, expensive shoes and clothes, amazing makeup, and the best perfumes. Now, Antonio and I were inseparable, and everyone envied me. It felt amazing. Until one evening, I was studying for a stupid poetry exam. When I felt hungry, I texted Antonio and asked him to bring me some Italian food. A few minutes later, someone knocked on the door. It was a good-looking guy around my age. "Antonio sent you?"
No English, madam."
Just then, Dad asked me who I was talking to, and I said, "Some really handsome delivery boy. Too bad he doesn't understand English, and too dumb for a really hot boy."
At least I'm not too dumb to think that Shakespeare is two verbs. You even turned it into the past tense. Shook, speared. How did you even come up with that?
Hey, it's a confusing name. Poetry is hard. Oh, wait. Didn't you say you didn't speak English?
Well, your jerk boyfriend, who is also my brother, asked me not to talk to you. He's afraid that you would fall in love with me.
Oh, wow. What's up with this family? But I decided to let it go and took the bags of food from him. And before closing the door, I said, "Thanketh thee, I loveth thee."
You just said I love you.
Oh my God! I'm such an idiot. This was so awkward. I just burst into tears. Can you please tutor me? Teach me something, man. I don't want to fail this exam. My dad will kill me.
Okay, I'm gonna help you. Not because I care or anything. It's because I want to tease my brother and spend some time with you to piss him off.
You guys are so honest.
It runs in our blood.
And he pushed me and got inside. His name was Lorenzo, and he was such a smart guy. He tutored me for 5 hours, and the next day, I failed the exam. But who cares? I was the fake girlfriend of a wealthy boy. During lunch, Antonio got me a cute bracelet with our letters carved on it. He was really into this bet, but suddenly he got serious.
Don't you ever talk to Lorenzo again. Do you hear me?
For what? Are you for real? You're not the boss of me. This relationship is all fake.
I said do not talk to him again.
Who did he think he was, talking to me like that? Just then, I spotted Lorenzo. So I pushed Antonio aside and went to sit with him. I even faked crying over the poetry exam and hugged Lorenzo so tight. He hugged me back. Later that day, I felt really sleepy during the boring lesson and put my head on the desk to take a nap. But someone started throwing paper balls at me. It was Antonio standing outside the window. "What are you doing here? Leave before the teacher sees you."
Come with me now. I won't leave until you come with me.
He was crazy. I didn't want the teacher to notice anything, so I just jumped out the window. I fell into Antonio's arms, and his face was really close to mine. I could see how amazing his brown eyes were. I also noticed a scar next to his eyebrow. "That's a cute scar." But suddenly Antonio let me go, and I fell on the ground. Ouch!
Follow me.
I followed him into the parking lot, and there I found a fancy carriage with 2 white horses. "In what age do you live?" But just then, 2 girls pulled me into the carriage and put makeup and a cute Disney princess dress on me. And then Antonio joined me. We reached a beautiful meadow filled with wildflowers. We had an amazing dinner, and I said, "Why are you doing this? We both know it's fake."
I don't know. I just felt like it.
And then he held my hand and looked straight into my eyes. And he got closer. But just then, my phone rang, and I looked at it nervously.
Is that him? What does he want?
We agreed that he would tutor me tonight. I have a chemistry exam tomorrow.
That's not gonna happen.
Oh, I'm sorry. I already texted him and sent him my location to pick me up. And a while later, Lorenzo arrived, holding a pretty bracelet in his hand. He handed it to me in front of Antonio.
Every charm has a different chemical element with its symbol to help you remember them better.
You mean help me cheat better? Man, you're the best. I high-fived him and left him saying bye to Antonio. That night, I studied with Lorenzo for 3 hours. And to my surprise, I was finally able to understand some things in chemistry. I know it was my 6th attempt to succeed, but still. I got up to do my happy dance, and I don't know what happened, but I accidentally poured some soda on his t-shirt. I apologized immediately and started using wipes to clean up his shirt. "Oh God, I'm such a dummy. I'm sorry." He held my hand, and I could feel his warm breath on my face. God, he was irresistible.
You're really pretty, Rena.
We looked at each other for a moment, and he got closer to kiss me. But I stopped him. I can't do this. I'm with Antonio now.
But it's all fake, Rena.
I know, but I think he's not that bad. And
Oh my god. You really think he likes you? How can you be this stupid?
he got up and left. Now I was really confused. Whom did I really like? Was it Antonio or Lorenzo? Next day, when I arrived at school, I saw Lorenzo and waved at him, but he ignored me. I walked toward him, but Antonio showed up and put his arm around my neck.
I believe your feet hurt really bad after last night.
Why are you saying that?
Because you walked into every single dream I had last night. Caramelina!
Ugh, so lame. But just then, he gave me my favorite chocolate and said,
I'm not as smart as Lorenzo, and I can't help tutor you, but I can give you chocolate. It will help you remember things better.
I thanked him and left. I spent the few coming days with Antonio because Lorenzo was ignoring me. And one day, Lorenzo didn't come to school, and I got worried because he never missed school. I asked Antonio about him, but he got all angry and didn't want to answer. But I insisted. And he told me that Lorenzo wasn't feeling well and was taken to the hospital last night.
Why are you looking at me like that? Go see your Prince Charming. He needs you.
I left the school and ran to see Lorenzo. I saw him sitting on his bed. He was surprised when he saw me. Lorenzo, before you say anything, I'm sorry about everything. I didn't realize how much you mean to me until we stopped talking. I really miss you, and I was thinking maybe we should go out. But just then, a girl showed up and held Lorenzo's hand. Oh my God! What are the chances that this ugly redhead is your sister?
0. She is my girlfriend.
What the freaking flamingo? I wish the ground would open up and swallow me.
Rena, listen.
No, it's okay! I just ran out of there crying. Why did God make me so dumb? I didn't go to school for the next 2 days, although I finally passed the chemistry exam. But I was too sad. Then I remembered I'd agreed with Antonio 3 weeks ago that I'd let him record a fake video of me begging him not to leave me, to show it as proof to his brothers that he won the bet. So, I went to school and told him I was ready.
For what?
For the video! You won the bet, remember?
I didn't win the bet. Lorenzo did. I didn't make you fall in love with me. Lorenzo did. I didn't break your heart. Lorenzo did.
Wait, are you saying that Lorenzo was involved in this? He also wanted me to fall in love with him?
Wasn't that too obvious, Rena? Can't you just look around you and see who really cared about you?
Oh, stop with your lies! Stop! I don't want to hear anything from you! Good job playing with my heart!
Oh, don't be the victim now. You just assumed that Lorenzo really liked you. And you ditched me so many times to go with him. And you didn't even care about how that made me feel?
Poor boy. He looks sad. Sorry to interrupt you guys, but I really need my chemical elements bracelet back. Since the bet is over now, and I won, you should give it back to me. It even helped you finally pass that exam. God, you're so dumb.
I got really mad at him and slapped him hard in the face. And then I got the bracelet off and threw it on the floor. Lorenzo got furious and approached me.
What did you do, you stupid girl?
Don't talk to her like that, you jerk.
Or what? What will you do to defend your little princess other than crying next to her?
And he pushed Antonio away, but Antonio punched him and he fell to the ground. Antonio wanted to hurt him even more, but I stopped him. Stop it! Enough with all this drama!
Yeah, speaking of drama, I just sent you something about your Romeo.
And he got up and left. The video showed when I left Antonio to visit Lorenzo in the hospital that day. Antonio took out a ring box and looked at it with teary eyes. But then he got mad and threw it on the ground. Then he sat on the floor and put his hands around his head. He looked really sad. Is this real? Do you like me?
I love you, Rena. You're amazing and funny and smart. And I understand that you don't love me back. So you don't have to feel sorry for me. You can leave me. I will be okay, I guess.
Or I can give you another 3 weeks to make me fall in love with you.
Really? That's amazing. Shall we start with a ring?
I think we can start with a kiss.
You're amazing! Cutie cupcake!
Wait, my mom used to call me that.
I know! Would you mind me calling you that?
You're amazing, Antonio! I was too blind to not see it. Can you please kiss me now?
I would love to.
Hi, my name is Scarlett, and I'm from New Jersey. I was born to loving parents just 3 years after my older sister, Aurora. The whole family celebrated my birth, and Aurora and I were inseparable. She always had me glued to her, and we did everything together. But as I got older, our parents realized something was wrong with me. I couldn't hear them. I only reacted if they spoke really loudly or really close to me. They rushed me to the doctor, and we found out that I had a problem in my ears that made me nearly 70% deaf. A surgery would fix this issue, but I had to be much older to go through it safely. So I grew up deaf in a world full of sound. While Aurora enjoyed music, laughter, and went to school like everyone else, my parents decided to homeschool me with an army of special tutors.
There's schools for kids just like her?
Yes, but she's our special girl, and we want to give her all our attention.
Aurora had a life I dreamed of every day. She got to have heaps of friends while I was too scared to talk to the kids in my neighborhood. I once got jealous watching Aurora dance to music. My parents went out of their way to make me feel better. They bragged about me all the time.
Scarlett is beautiful, and she's a genius. She did her speech therapy in record time.
Mom, I topped my entire grade. Look at my report card.
That's nice, dear. Scarlett can lip read too, you know. Show them. It's such a fun game.
I got ready to show off my skills, but Aurora suddenly got up, threw her report card on the table, and ran into her room. What was the matter with her? I was too wrapped up in my life to understand it. But Aurora started having little meltdowns all the time. She hated that my parents always let me choose our vacation spots, choose where to eat, and bought me anything I pointed at. When Aurora asked for the same things, my parents just told her to share mine.
That's not fair. Why can't I have what she has?
We can share. I have like 100 clothes.
I'm talking to Mom.
I didn't want Aurora to hate me, so I sent her some pretty dresses as a gift. She sent them back to me, all cut up in pieces. Are you kidding me? When I reached the 7th grade, I was finally ready to get my surgery, and all my parents could do was worry about it. Even I was a little scared, but Aurora couldn't care less. She was a school topper and a cheerleader now. She was also best friends with the richest girl in town, Kat. Her dad was so powerful, he employed half the adults here. Aurora spent all her time lounging in Kat's huge pool house. Even though Kat was the worst, she was super mean and controlling. She even gave her friends strict guidelines on how to dress. One time, Aurora wore the wrong shoes with an evening dress, and her friends ditched her. Kat is a moron. You shouldn't be friends with her.
Mind your own business, turd.
I still hoped that Aurora and I would be normal sisters after my surgery. But the day I went to the hospital, she didn't even show up. I went into the hospital with my heart burning with anger. If Aurora didn't care about me, then I didn't care about her anymore. When I woke up from surgery, I couldn't stop weeping. My parents' voices, the doctor's voices, and my own voice. Everything was setting me off. It took time and effort, but with my parents' support and therapy, I slowly got used to living in a sea of sound. On my first day of joining regular school, my heart was hammering. I'd literally taken my first few steps into the hallway when I saw the most beautiful girl in the entire world just casually standing by the lockers. She was looking right at me, and her mouth was moving. I read her lips without even trying. Did you just say I'm pretty?
What? How did you hear that?
I have good ears. I'm Scarlett.
I'm Marina.
I shook her hand, and my heart wanted to dance. She was actually going to be in my classes. School was exciting. It was a little weird making friends when I could still lip read. I was only 40% accurate, but that was enough to accidentally see some awkward things. I just pretended I knew nothing. But one day I saw two of our teachers talking, and I couldn't help but stare. They were talking about giving us a surprise test tomorrow. Well, it wouldn't be fair if I just prepared alone, right? So I told everyone in my class what was going to happen. Marina looked really surprised.
But how did you know?
I can lip read, just a little bit. I used to be deaf.
Wow, really?
A literal crowd jumped on me all of a sudden. People had a million questions about my life. Everyone wanted to play the lip reading game. They would mouth dumb things at me, and I had to guess. Banana olive juice? No, I love you. Aw, you're just saying. La 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 la. The whole class was rolling in laughter. I had no idea I was so fun. By the end of the day, I got invited to 3 different sleepovers. I was really enjoying my new popularity. Until one day when I learned a secret I couldn't forget. Aurora was hanging out with Kat and a gang of cheerleaders, and I saw them mouthing the words spray paint and plan. That made me curious, so I sneaked closer to them to hear what they were saying. Kat was planning to vandalize the school building this weekend, and she was making her friends help her. When I reached home, I went into Aurora's room to talk to her alone. I know what Kat is planning to do this weekend.
You little sneak! How did you know? Did you lip read us?
It doesn't matter. You can't go spray painting buildings with her. She's gonna get you in trouble.
Mind your own business.
Why do you let that jerk push you around?
That jerk's dad is literally our dad's boss. She's really powerful.
So let her get in trouble alone. She refused to listen to me. I didn't know what to do. But I couldn't let her get mixed up with that awful girl anymore. So I told my parents what she was about to do. Her bully of a friend is gonna make her vandalize the school. My parents were furious at Aurora. They yelled at her and then grounded her for the next 2 weeks.
You told on me. Isn't it enough that you're our parents' favorite? You just had to do this.
Aurora, if you get caught, you could get suspended or even expelled.
As if you care about what happens to me. Stay out of my life.
Aurora shut me out hard. After that, she ignored me at home and in school. That Monday, the principal announced that Kat and her group had been caught ruining school property, and they all got suspended. I thought that would soften Aurora's temper, but she still didn't want to talk to me. I couldn't stay upset about it for too long, because one day, I opened my lockers to see flowers and a note inside. It was from Marina.
Too shy to say it in person, but ever since we met, I can't stop thinking about you. Want to go out with me?
I was so happy I was gonna faint. A real-life fairy just asked me out. I texted her yes and literally floated on air for days. I was so nervous on my first ever date that my hands were shaking. I even spilled a soda all over us. But that was the moment she chose to surprise me and kissed me. She was just perfect. Marina was funny, clever, and even my parents loved her. Our relationship was pure and blissful until we reached the 9th grade, and she finally introduced me to her mom. That was instant hate. Her mom didn't want her dating a girl, and it showed. She asked Marina to dump me, and when she didn't, she started ignoring her. She bought her siblings presents and took them to dinners. But she purposefully left Marina out. I hated to see Marina upset, and I foolishly thought if her mom got to know me, she'd like me. So for Marina's birthday, I set up a family picnic in the park as a surprise. But Marina's mom spent the whole time bragging about her siblings.
My son has a new job, and my eldest daughter is going to college with a scholarship. I'm so proud of you both.
Mom, I won an art contest last month.
Art contest? Ha ha, sounds lame. Your sister won a science scholarship.
Bitter tears filled Marina's eyes, and she stormed off in a huff. She worked hard on that contest, and you called it lame just to hurt her. You're insane. I went after Marina and saw her weeping, and suddenly, it reminded me of Aurora getting ignored by our parents. Unlike Marina's mom, my parents didn't give me more attention to hurt Aurora. But the end result looked exactly the same. My parents were wrong for how they treated Aurora. I was just too mad at her for not being there for me, and I couldn't see it until now. Aurora still avoided me at home and at school, but it finally made sense to me, and we didn't speak again until the evening of the spring dance. Marina and I wore the prettiest dresses and were so excited to go to our first dance together. But we'd only been there for an hour when Marina's mom showed up.
What are you doing here?
Just wanted to see all the handsome boys you rejected to date this rude girl. That one. Oh, that one.
Mom, stop it. You can't be here.
You can't date this girl. She called your own mother insane.
That's because you are insane.
People were staring at us, and someone even turned the music down.
My daughter never spoke to me this way before you came along. I hate you.
Her mom picked up the bowl of punch, and she was gonna throw it at me. I prepared myself for the splash, but suddenly, Aurora flew in between us and pushed her away. Marina's mom went flying back right into a table of food. The entire hall watched her in pin-drop silence before exploding into whispers and laughter.
Call the principal. His students attacked me. They're crazy.
The teachers were furious at Aurora for pushing her and disrupting the dance. They gave her 6 weeks of detention and called our parents to pick us up. When we got home, they tried to yell at Aurora, but I stopped them. Marina's mom deserves everything she got. You should be proud of Aurora for standing up for me.
She stood up for you this one time. Before this, she was planning to vandalize buildings. And before that, she was constantly fighting with you.
That's you. Your fault, not hers. Yeah, you heard me. You were so eager to make me feel good. You ignored Aurora since we were kids. That's why she hated me.
We may have given you more attention, but we loved you both equally.
No way. You acted like I didn't even matter. Nothing I ever did was good enough for your praise, while you wrote actual songs about Scarlet.
Aurora, you were healthy. Topping your classes, cheerleading, making friends. You didn't need us as much as she did.
That's not true. I was upset. Making friends with bullies and getting into trouble. I would be suspended or expelled if it weren't for Scarlet. I'm a mess. If you loved me as much as you loved Scarlet, you would have seen that.
Aurora burst into tears while my parents looked stunned.
We did take your achievements for granted. And yes, we were more worried about your sister. But we love you both the same.
Then why don't you act like it?
We didn't want Scarlet to be jealous of your life. We worried about her getting hurt in a million ways, but that's not an excuse. If we let you think for even a second that we didn't love you, then we really messed up. I'm so sorry, Aurora.
We love you both more than our own lives. We're sorry we haven't shown it. We'll do better from now on.
Aurora grabbed my parents in a hug, and I wiped my tears off and joined them too.
Hi, I'm Jasmine from San Francisco. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. I was born with cherry lips and big black eyes. My parents said I looked like a child out of a fairy tale. But whenever Mom and Dad talked to me, I never smiled or changed my facial expression. My parents tried everything to make me smile.
Mrs. Rabbit wants to play with you.
Come on, give Mr. Mouse a kiss.
Dad held a mouse puppet close to my face and made kissing noises. But I just stared blankly and slapped the mouse away from me. That's when my parents decided to take me to a doctor. After a few tests, I found out I had a condition called Mobius that meant I couldn't smile, frown, or lift my eyebrows. I was too young to understand what Mobius was, but when I was in preschool, Mom and I were at the mall when we bumped into one of her friends who had a daughter my age. She kept smiling at me, but all I could do was stare at her like a robot. Suddenly, the little girl started to cry.
Mommy, this girl is scaring me.
Oh, sweetie, don't be scared. Our dog ran away yesterday, so Jasmine's just sad.
But Mom, we don't have a dog? Mom pulled me away quickly. That's when I realized she was embarrassed to tell her friend I had a condition because that meant I wasn't normal like everyone else. And at school, none of the kids really wanted to be my friend because they thought I was strange. So I spent most of my time alone. But several months later, my life took a huge turn. Mom gave birth to my twin sisters, Kiara and Helena. My parents worked full-time, so we always had a maid in the house. But even with a maid, I was always the main one to watch my sisters. One day, Helena, the wilder twin, climbed all the way to the top of our backyard fence. Helena, come down right now!
No, I don't wanna. Kiara, come climb up and we can fly like birds do.
No flying! Kiara listened to me, but Helena was about to jump and my heart almost stopped. But then she started laughing like crazy.
Haha, fooled you!
I was furious and told Mom what Helena did. Mom went ballistic.
What is the matter with you, Helena? Why can't you be a good girl like your sisters?
Helena's eyes filled with tears. From that day on, she made everyone's life a living nightmare. She hated me for telling on her. And over time, Helena grew jealous of Kiara. Kiara was what you call gifted and could get straight A without even trying. One time, when the girls were in 4th grade, Mom and Dad threw Kiara a huge party for winning the school's spelling bee.
Our little Einstein, we're so proud of you, Kiara.
Helena stormed out of the room at that moment. And that night, she chopped off all of Kiara's hair while everyone was sleeping. Kiara burst into tears, and I tried to comfort her. Don't worry, it'll grow back.
Helena's such a mean bully.
I won't let her bully you anymore. Kiara, I'm here. Kiara slept in my room every night after that because she was terrified of Helena. I loved both my sisters, but Helena grew up to be so mean. Then one day in 8th grade, a new boy joined my class. His name was Daniel, and he wore those fat black spectacles. He was really short and really shy. While he was walking to class, this guy bumped into him and his glasses went flying. Daniel started freaking out.
I can't see anything.
I saw Daniel's glasses on the floor and picked them up quickly. Here you go, but it looks like they're broken.
It's okay, it's better than nothing.
Daniel put on his broken glasses. He looked silly, but also kind of cute. He and I ended up hanging out for the rest of the day, and he was super sweet and good to talk to. Over time, Daniel and I became really close, and I even started having feelings for him. But he always just treated me as a friend, and I didn't want to ruin what we had. Life in high school was good till Kiara and Helena joined and things got a little crazy. Whenever Helena saw me with Daniel, she grabbed the chance to make fun of me. One time Daniel and I were in the hallway when we passed Helena putting on lipstick.
Hey Daniel, don't you ever get bored of hanging out with sad face emoji over here?
Of course not. That's not a nice thing to say, Helena.
Yeah, get out of my sight before you regret it.
Okay, but first I need to do this.
Before I knew it, Helena had pinned me against the locker and drew a smile on my face with her lipstick.
You look so much better now.
I pushed Helena to the ground and she fell on her butt. She dragged me down, but Daniel stepped in.
Cut it out, Helena!
Daniel pulled me up and led me to the girls' bathroom. He helped me rinse the lipstick smile off, and I looked at my face in the mirror. Daniel, do you think I'm ugly? You can tell me the truth!
Jasmine, look at me. You're not ugly. I think you're the most beautiful girl I've ever seen.
Daniel leaned in and kissed me, and I felt butterflies. A bunch of girls came in just then and started shrieking.
Ew! What's he doing in the girls' bathroom?
Daniel and I ran out laughing like crazy. I was on cloud 9 all that week. I didn't even mind that our maid was coming less, and I was doing all the chores by myself. But Helena couldn't stop talking about me having a boyfriend.
I just don't get it. How can someone like you have a boyfriend but not me? I'm way prettier than you.
Well, not everything is about looks, Helena. As time passed, Kiara started dating a popular jock at school. Her grades were still perfect, and she got much more popular than Helena. Kiara's life and mine were getting better and better, but Helena didn't have anything going for her. One morning, I woke up to find everybody at home, including my parents, which was rare, and Kiara was super sick. Her face looked super bloated, and she had red bumps all over her arms and legs. My parents left me at home with Helena while they took Kiara to the doctor. Helena was surprisingly well behaved and even stayed in to do homework. I decided it was safe to go out and see Daniel for a bit. But as I reached home, my parents and Kiara had also just returned. Guys, what's going on? Kiara, what did the doctor say was wrong?
I have an autoimmune problem. Apparently, every time I get an allergic reaction, this is what'll happen.
My parents left for work then. Suddenly, Kiara looked at her phone and started to cry.
Oh my god! Just look what Helena posted!
To my horror, Helena had posted a picture of Kiara with her red skin, bumps, and bloated face on Instagram. Underneath, the caption read, "Even pretty girls have ugly secrets." Just then, Helena came trotting down the stairs all dressed up.
Helena, you're a monster! How could you do something like this?
I couldn't help myself. It was just too funny. Kiara looked totally Instagram-worthy.
Before I could answer, Kiara's boyfriend came down the stairs too.
Here, babe, you forgot your jacket.
Babe, what are you doing here?
Helena invited me over while you and your sister were out. Listen, I can't date you anymore, not after seeing your skin.
He and Helena walked out the door before any of us could say anything. How could Helena do something so sick? I stayed with Kiara the whole day and told my parents everything that had happened. They grounded Helena for 2 weeks. And then the strangest thing happened. Kiara became more popular in school, and kids at school started ignoring Helena. Everyone thought Helena was heartless for stealing Kiara's boyfriend. She became a total outcast. Kiara got a new boyfriend, and Daniel became more and more handsome. By the end of 12th grade, he even got contact lenses. The day before my graduation, my parents pulled me aside.
Jasmine, we were thinking maybe you can apply for an online college.
We still really need you to keep an eye on your sister, sweetie.
Are you kidding me? I've been the family nanny my whole life. It's about time you two took over and taught the twins to be responsible. I deserve to focus on my life now. With that, I walked away, and I spent days applying to my dream colleges. But one night, while I was reading, Kiara ran into my room.
Sis, come quick! It's Helena! She's gone!
What do you mean, she's gone? I dashed into Helena's room to find my parents holding a note from Helena.
Helena wrote that she's leaving home to live somewhere else. She didn't even write where.
Dad called the police, and they tracked down Helena's phone. It turned out she was staying with our aunt, who Helena was super close with. We were all relieved, but when we went to pick her up, she refused to come home.
I told Aunt, I don't want to stay with you guys anymore, and she's happy to keep me. I'm not going home with you guys. You can't make me.
Mom and Dad spent hours begging her to come home, but they couldn't persuade her, so we left without her. But my parents were sure she'd cool off and return in a couple of weeks. Except she didn't. She stayed with Aunt for a month. Then 1 month turned into 3 months, and then 6. And Helena refused to speak to any of us. And I left for college soon with Daniel. I kept in touch with Kiara, who told me after some time that Helena had moved out of her aunt's place and was now living with some friend. 4 years later, Daniel and I graduated university with honors, and we started a small software company that met success almost immediately. And soon after, Daniel proposed to me, and of course, I said yes. Life was going great. And then one day, I got the most unexpected call.
Jasmine, it's Helena. Can you meet me today? I need your help.
No, hi, hello, how have you been?
Please, I'm in crisis. I'm texting you the address. Meet me there.
Helena hung up before I could even answer. I felt mad at her, but I just couldn't ignore my little sister. I went to the address and found her sitting on a bench outside a small building. Helena had chopped off her lovely hair, and she looked thin. Helena, what's going on with you?
I started a makeup business, and now I'm in debt. I was wondering if you could lend me the money to pay it off. I'll lose it otherwise.
You shut out your whole family for years, and now you call me out of the blue because you want money?
This is not how I wanted to reach out to you, okay? I wanted to make something of myself first, and make you guys proud of me. I was just never as perfect as you or Kiara, and that just made me jealous and stupid, and I'm sorry for everything. I've been trying to be better. I really believe my business can work, but now I'm in a mess as usual, and I could only think of you. You've always taken care of me.
I was surprised at how sincere and different Helena sounded, and it was good to see her trying at something. I wrote her a check and was about to leave when suddenly I turned back and handed her a wedding invite. I'm getting married in a few months. I'd like for you to come, and I'm sure everyone else would be happy to see you too. A couple of months before the wedding, Daniel took me out to a special dinner.
Jasmine, I've been saving up some money and doing research for years. Moebius, your condition can't be cured, but it can be slightly corrected through surgery. And I just found this amazing surgeon. I just want you to know that you're perfect as you are. But if you want the surgery, I have the money for it.
My eyes filled with happy tears. I agreed to get the surgery, and Daniel was by my side the whole time. The doctor couldn't completely fix my issues, but I felt like a whole different person being able to have real facial expressions. On the day of my wedding, my parents and Kiara were with me in the dressing room when suddenly the door opened and Helena walked in. Everyone looked shocked to see her, but I was so happy she came.
Guys, I know we've all had our issues, but can today be the day we all start to make up?
My parents hugged Helena and we all cried. And even Kiara joined in. Then my parents turned to me.
Jasmine, we're so happy for you and so grateful to you. We know we always put too much responsibility on you, and it wasn't fair.
We want you to know that we really appreciate you, love.
And hearing those words from them meant everything. My sisters walked me down the aisle, and I could hear people smiling and whispering that I looked amazing. Daniel beamed at me as he took my hand.
You have the loveliest smile, Jasmine.
Hey friends, I'm Elena from Moldova. Please like and subscribe. I was born in a small village to a single mother who achieved great success when she relocated to the metropolis. My mum was an entrepreneur, and every business she'd start would become a gold mine. And Mum spoiled me rotten. I just had to look at something and she'd get it for me. For my 7th birthday, I asked her if I could have a bigger swimming pool, and she had a water park installed in her backyard. My friends and I were ecstatic when we saw it. Oh, Mom, my God, Mom, you're the best!
Anything for you, dear. And don't forget the doctor's advice. Speak slowly, and you won't stutter as much.
Yeah, I used to stutter a lot when I was young. I mostly had it under control, but it could get worse when I was nervous or excited. But aside from that, my life was perfect, and everyone wished they were me. That is, until the 10th grade, when Mom's company stock crashed one day and she was left with nothing.
We were gonna lose our house!
I decided to ask my friends for help, but that's when they all revealed their true nature.
So sorry, Elena, but we're facing financial problems too.
I want to assist, but my dad works incredibly hard, and I doubt he'll give your mom any money. He always claims she got wealthy purely by chance.
Luck? My mom works really.
Your mom works really hard? I don't think so, and Dad's right. Now go away, please. We don't have all day for you to finish your sentence.
Gosh, people could change so fast. We did lose the house, and Mom decided to send me to her hometown to live with a friend for a while. Though I hated the idea of being away from her, I agreed for her sake. By the time I landed at the airport, I was already homesick. But just then I saw a boy my age holding a placard with my name. Hey, you must be here for me. Wow, it's really hot here. Wait, aren't you gonna pick up my bags?
Oh, I'm so sorry. Where are my manners? I'm Gabriel, and guess what? I'm not your servant, so pick them up yourself.
How rude! I carried my bags and followed him outside, only to find a donkey. Where's the sea car?
Gosh, you sound like a broken record. That's your ride, princess, so hop on.
That was my first experience on a donkey cart. I didn't mind, but the entire journey I felt like hitting this boy Gabriel for mocking me. Mom's friend was delightful, though. She embraced me the moment she saw me and then led me to a tiny room. This is so cute! My cat has a room just like this.
I had to leave my room for this city brat. Look, if you don't like it, you can always sleep in the basement. It's got lots of space. And pets too. A family of rats.
What a jerk. I wouldn't have lasted a day there without his amazing mom. And I mostly tried to pretend he didn't exist. A week later, I started school. And surprisingly, I made friends instantly. But soon I discovered why. All the girls wanted to know what it was like living under the same roof as Gabriel. Not great, because he's a moron.
A handsome moron!
A few days later, our school was having a football match, and I volunteered as the water girl. Gabriel was team captain, and all the girls were chanting his name.
Geez, so lame!
Sure, he was handsome, but just a little. I was so busy looking at him that I didn't notice this player trying to catch a ball, and he crashed straight into me.
Are you trying to kill me? Watch where you're going!
Great advice. I'll remember it for next time.
He just smiled like an idiot. And before running off, he winked at me. The next day, I saw the same player outside my school, with thousands of roses. As soon as he spotted me, his silly smile was back.
Hey, beautiful. These are for you. By the way, I'm Nova.
Wow! That's a lot of roses. Thanks. Nova was on the football team of another school, but he just turned up outside every day to ask me out. I kept saying no, but he wasn't taking it. And then one day at home, I saw a car pull up outside with Nova in the back seat. But just then I saw Gabriel's mum go to the car. And the driver stepped out, handed her an envelope, and left. What was that all about? Later I asked Gabriel's mum, and she told me her husband used to work for Nova's dad. And even after he was gone, the family kept helping her with money. They were even paying for Gabriel's school. Wow! That made me see Nova in a different light. So the next time he asked me out, I said yes. When Nova picked me up for our first date, he said, I was surprised. This is where you live. How do you know these people? I told him everything about why I had moved here.
I'm sorry, that sounds tough. But just be careful of that, Gabriel.
What do you mean?
Gabriel's dad worked for us, and we'd play together as kids. But I always felt like he resented us, especially me. Like he hates me because I was born rich and he wasn't. I'm sure he has nothing nice to say about me. Even after everything my family does for him.
I didn't have trouble believing that. Gabriel was always mocking me too, for being some rich brat. My date with Nova was totally unexpected. Instead of taking me to some fancy restaurant, he took me to a soup kitchen for the homeless, and we signed up as volunteers.
I always come here when I want to do something special. Feels good, doesn't it?
This boy was so sweet. When he dropped me back home, I found Gabriel on the porch.
Seriously? You're dating Nova? Did the rest of the male population die?
What's your problem? He's a nice guy.
Oh, yeah? So where'd you go on a date? Was it an orphanage this time? Or a pet shelter to see some poor puppies? That's the kind of stuff he does on first dates to impress girls.
I don't expect you to understand what it means to be genuinely nice.
I didn't expect you to be this dumb. But hey, you surprised me. Actually, you guys deserve each other. Two spoiled brats.
Nova was right about him. He sounded so judgy and bitter. I started going out with Nova and was having a good time, but he was always too generous with fancy dinners and gifts, which made me uncomfortable. Nova, I wish you wouldn't. I can't give you gifts like these.
I'm not expecting anything. But I can spoil my girlfriend, can't I?
He gently kissed me for the first time. And I didn't exactly feel sparks. And I felt he was falling for me much too fast. The next morning, I didn't see Gabriel or his mom anywhere. And then I found them both in her room. She was in bed with a high fever. When we called the doctor, he said she'd caught some virus. He advised us to stay home from school for 2 weeks, too. I really wanted to help in some way, so I made soup for her. I was carrying it up to her room when Gabriel stopped me.
What's that?
It's soup. Mom would give this to me when I was sick.
No, thanks. You're not giving that to my mom. How would you know how to cook anything when you never had to lift a finger?
And suddenly I snapped. Gabriel, can you just shut up for once? Yeah, I used to be rich. It's not a crime, and I'm not useless and spoiled. I pushed him aside and went up with the tray. Gosh, I was so sick of him. Later at night, there was a knock on my door, and Gabriel peeked in.
I'm sorry about earlier. I shouldn't have spoken to you like that.
Yeah, you shouldn't have, but it's okay. I get that you're worried about your mom.
Yeah, but I haven't been very nice to you. I'll be better.
After that day, Gabriel and I kinda became friends. We took turns caring for his mom and doing household chores. And at night, we'd sit outside and talk for hours. He was sweet and simple and was really starting to grow on me. 2 weeks flew by and his mom recovered completely. One day, Gabriel was working in the garden while I was reading and observing how good he looked, when suddenly he spoke.
Hey, Elena, can you check if the water is coming from the hose? I don't know if it's broken or...
Just as I picked it up, water came gushing straight at my face, and Gabriel was laughing like crazy.
Gosh, you are so easy to trick.
I picked up a handful of mud as he ran off. As I was chasing him, he tripped and fell, and then I rubbed the mud all over his face.
What are you doing to her? Jerk!
Nova was about to attack Gabriel when I stopped him. Hey, we were just playing. I started it.
And why were you doing that? Did you forget I was picking you up for dinner?
You're gonna tell her what she can and can't do now.
The boys looked ready to kill each other. So I dragged Nova aside and told him to wait in the car while I cleaned up. I had totally forgotten about dinner at his place. Nova lived in a mansion with his dad, who welcomed me warmly.
You're living with Gabriel and his mom, right? His father was a close friend of mine.
Friend? Come on, Dad, he was our servant. Dad's really soft-hearted and likes helping people. Gabriel would have never gone to school if it weren't for him.
And I'm glad I helped because that boy is hardworking and will make something of himself. Unlike some entitled rich kids I know.
Just then his dad excused himself and Nova flung his plate at the wall.
This is what happens every time I bring that jerk up. Dad has always liked Gabriel more than me.
I'm sure that's not true.
Don't think I'm blind or stupid. You like Gabriel more too, don't you? You've been avoiding me for 2 weeks just to spend more time with him.
Are you crazy? I told you his mom was unwell.
Liar!
I stared at him in shock and he suddenly snapped out of his anger.
Elena, I'm sorry.
I'd like to go home, please. I felt shaken. On my way back, Nova was turning out to be really strange. And at home, Gabriel was sitting in the kitchen with an unpleasant face.
You're back early.
Were you waiting for me?
Yeah, waiting to tell you that you're an idiot for dating Nova. He's fake and horrible. Why can't you see that? Are you blinded by his expensive gifts or too impressed by his mansion?
I was gonna tell him I was breaking up with Nova, but that made me so mad. There you are. Back to being a jerk. Mind your own business, Gabriel. And don't talk to me. Gabriel and I stopped talking after that day, and I broke up with Nova too. He kept begging me to forgive him, but I held my ground. He was just too much. A few days later, Mom called me with the most amazing news. Her company was up and running again, and she wanted me to come home. I decided I'd leave right after the final exams the next week. There was nothing keeping me here. Anyway, after exam week, there was a big football match between our school and Nova's, and I made sure to sit far behind on the bleachers so he wouldn't spot me. The match was an intense one. Gabriel and Nova kept butting heads on the field and almost broke into a fight. But our team won by a large margin, and Nova stormed off the field furiously. Gabriel looked so happy, and I wanted to congratulate him. I thought I'd catch him outside the locker room. But I walked into the building to find two guys pinning him against the wall as Nova punched him.
Stop it! Nova, don't hurt him!
Nova turned to me with crazy eyes.
Oh, how worried you are now. But you didn't care when you hurt me. I know you broke up with me because you have feelings for this worm. After all that money I spent on you. I thought because you were rich once you'd have some class, but you're just cheap.
You're a psycho. And yeah, I like Gabriel a lot. Now I understand why your dad likes him better.
You'll pay for saying that. I'll make sure Dad stops giving them any money. I'll convince him. You'll see.
No, you won't, Nova, because I've seen everything I needed to, and I am so disappointed in you.
We turned around to see Nova's dad, who'd come to see the match, and he looked furious. He grabbed Nova's arm and led him away.
Gabriel, are you okay? Yours face.
I'm fine, Elena.
I should have listened to you about Nova.
No, I was unfair and mean to you, and I'm really sorry about what you said back there. Is it true?
Which part?
The part where you said you like me a lot.
Yeah, I like you. Big deal.
Like me because I like you?
I guess it's just you then. He grinned and pulled me in for a kiss, and it was perfect.